Invest in yourself, and everything else will naturally find its way to you. There's a harsh truth about life. If you don't invest in yourself, no one will ever bet on you. We often assume that to have a successful career, we need to meet the right person. To have love, we need to be chosen. To earn respect, we must constantly prove our worth. But the more we chase those things, the more breathless life becomes. Because the world doesn't revolve around those who try to please everyone. It turns toward those who take themselves seriously, who care for their mind, body, and soul. You don't need more opportunities. You don't need more connections. You don't need a miracle. What you truly need is to turn inward and invest in the most important person in your life, yourself. From how you eat and rest, to how you manage your time and emotions, from what you choose to read, to learn, to practice every single day, to how you set your boundaries, live with principles, and protect your inner peace, without letting others steer your life for you. Every one of these things is an investment, and the miracle is this: when you become disciplined enough to nourish yourself, inside and out, your career will come. The right person will find you. Good fortune will cling to you and never let go, not because you're lucky, but because you've become deserving. Life is fair, sometimes slow, but always fair. If you endure long enough, it will give you far more than you ever dared to dream. So, begin this journey, honestly, gently, but with awareness. Stop chasing the crowd. Stop dimming your light for others to shine. Today, you become the center of your own world. You see, one of the clearest signs that someone has never truly invested in themselves is that they live by reaction, not by choice. When someone calls, they rush. When someone's sad, they comfort. When someone blames, they apologize. When someone asks, they say yes, as if they were born only to make others feel comfortable. But life isn't meant to be a long string of tired nods. It's a journey of direction, of identity, of purpose. And you can't walk that path if you keep living as someone else's shadow. So we begin here and now, where you learn once again how to live for yourself, one mindful day at a time. 1. Those who live their entire lives for others often end up feeling empty inside. There are people who pass through this world like a wisp of smoke, gentle to everyone, hard-working in everything. They become the kind of person everyone admires, yet no one truly sees the quiet exhaustion draining their life away, not because they are weak, but because they've placed themselves at the very end of the line for far too long. They think, as long as others are at peace, my suffering doesn't matter. But one day when they finally look back, they realize an entire lifetime has passed without a single moment of rest for themselves. Helping others is an act of virtue, but knowing when to stop is wisdom. You can be a support for others, but you cannot be the pillar that holds up their entire life. If you don't learn to turn inward and care for your own being, no matter how kind you are, one day you will collapse, quietly disappearing from the very life you've been struggling to hold together. There's a story from an ancient village near Suzhou. In that village, there lived a 70-year-old woman who carried buckets of water up a stone slope every day to supply the whole marketplace. No one hired her. No one forced her. Yet, rain or snow, she carried water from dawn till dusk. She said, "I see everyone is busy. I'm old now. I just do what I can." No one noticed that she lived alone in a small hut. Her meals were never enough. She rationed every coin for medicine, but she never stopped carrying water. The full buckets brought convenience to others, while she herself was slowly drying out from within. One winter she was found collapsed on the stone steps, still clutching her old carrying pole. In her baskets, half a bucket of water undelivered. At the clinic, The doctor said she was severely anemic and exhausted. She needed long rest. She never came back. No one carried water after her, but people eventually found their own ways. The market went on, life continued. Only her hut remained, silent and cold. That story moved many to tears, but also woke many from their sleep. There are people so kind, so selfless, that they die quietly without complaint, without anyone stopping them. Because from the very beginning, they chose to live without placing themselves in the picture of life. They carried water for the whole village, but no one could carry for them their health, their mind, or their dreams, the things they silently gave up. If you live only to be the helping hand for others, then in the end, you will be drained dry, and no one will even notice. Don't let your kindness become a dull blade that cuts into your own heart. Remember, you were not born to serve everyone. You were born to live a full, meaningful life for yourself first. Between helping others and destroying yourself lies a fragile line called self-worth. So help with a full heart, not with a soul that's running empty. 2. Those who always need to be asked, "Are you okay?" are the ones who've never learned how to save themselves. Are you okay? A question light as the wind, but as empty as a passing cloud, if it's only asked out of habit. Life is never short of people who ask if you're okay. It's only short of those who truly stay to listen. Those who overcome their darkest nights are often the ones no one ever checks on, yet they still find a way to rebuild themselves from the ruins. Strength isn't about never falling, it's about falling and still standing up, wiping your tears, and choosing to live kindly with yourself again. That's the courage of someone who no longer waits to be rescued because they understand. As long as they can still breathe, as long as they are still aware, no one else has the right to decide their destiny. There's a story called The Snowy Night and the Girl No One Called Back. Min-thu, a fourth-year medical student, studying far from home in Japan. That winter, snow blanketed the streets. It was so cold she had to wear 3 layers of clothing, her hands trembling as she held her phone. That day, she was scolded harshly by her professor for a small mistake, and then received a video call showing her parents in a heated argument. She sat on the stairway of her dorm, crying, scrolling through her contacts, family, friends, anyone. Everyone was busy, everyone left a message. And there she was, alone in the freezing snow with nothing but the cruel silence of life around her. In a fleeting moment of despair, a small light appeared. In her backpack was a small therapy notebook her psychology teacher once gave her. She opened it, followed the steps with trembling hands, writing down her fears, breathing deeply, warming herself, hugging her own shoulders. 30 minutes later, the panic faded. She made herself a cup of tea, watched the snow fall through the window, and felt a quiet peace return. No one called back, but she no longer needed them to. From that day on, Min-thu changed. She no longer needed reminders to eat, no longer felt lonely when no one checked in. Because she realized, if you've ever sat alone in the cold, with no one by your side, and still managed to stand again, then no storm can ever truly scare you. No one has the duty to lift you up if you refuse to learn how to stand. No one can keep you from falling if you don't fasten the safety belt of your own life. Strength doesn't mean you need no one. It means you don't depend on anyone just to survive. So when someone asks, "Are you okay?" smile gently and say, "I don't need to be perfectly fine. I just need to be aware enough to hold myself when I fall." 3. Your life will never change if you keep waiting for others to give you permission to live truthfully. We grow up under countless watchful eyes of parents, teachers, society. Every step feels like it must be checked, every decision shaped by fear. What will they think of me? And so we learn to live as if we're actors in a play directed by someone else. We perform so well that we forget the sound of our own true voice. Your life truly begins the moment you give yourself permission to be real. Without asking, without explaining, without waiting for approval. That's when you stop seeking permission and start granting power to yourself. The story is called The Seamstress and the Dress No One Ordered. In a small Hungarian town, there lived a young woman named Elle, who made a living sewing clothes for hire. For 8 long years, she followed every client's request to the letter, measuring, cutting, stitching, always to please others. One day, Elle looked into the mirror and saw a tired face staring back, a stranger who no longer resembled the girl who once loved design. That night, she stayed awake until dawn and created her first dress, a dress no one had ordered. It was bold, artistic, and utterly unsellable, but she poured her heart into it. She wore it herself, took her own photos, and allowed herself to live for what she truly loved. Later, that photo was reshared by a famous designer, opening a new path for her, not because someone discovered her, but because she dared to show herself. For years, Elle had lived like a sewing machine, precise, diligent, emotionless. Only when she reignited the fire buried under duty did she finally step out from the shadow called hired to do it right. And she realized, no one forbids you from being real except yourself. If you're waiting for someone to give you permission to live honestly, you may wait until your last breath. Because that permission never comes from outside. It only arrives when you stop asking who will accept you and begin to accept yourself. You don't need anyone's approval stamp to live as who you are. Every time you dare to live truthfully, you carve a new path toward a life that no longer strains to please. 4. Reaction is instinct. Living with intention is strength. Some people spend their whole lives trying to answer one question: what do others want from me? And so every day becomes a string of reactions. Replying to messages on time, meeting demands precisely, maintaining an image carefully. They stay busy, so busy they forget what they're living for. Those who live intentionally aren't necessarily wiser. They've simply learned to pause and ask deeper questions. Where am I really heading? The world is always noisy. But if you never learn to shut out the excess and listen to your own voice, you'll spend your life chasing instead of leading. There's a story called The Man Who Walked Into His Fateful Phone Call. His name was Nam, once a CEO at a major media company. His schedule was so packed he hadn't had a proper lunch in 3 years. One day, in the middle of a meeting, he received the news. His father had passed away. He paused, but didn't cry. Then he turned back and continued the meeting. After the funeral, a close friend told him, "You live as if your life belongs to someone else." That sentence struck like a hammer, shattering a wall in his mind. 3 months later, he quit his job, cut all business ties, and moved back to the countryside to live near his mother. Every morning, he walked 5 kilometers, read books, and wrote in his journal, learning how to truly be present in his own life again. Nam realized that for all those years, he hadn't been living. He'd only been reacting to deadlines, expectations, and the image of success that society built around him. Sitting by his father's grave, he finally asked, "Would my father want me to live like this?" The answer was no, and that became the beginning of everything new. Reaction is what we do when we have no time to think. Living with intention is what happens when we create space to think before we act. You cannot steer your life if you're always reacting. So each morning before the world sweeps you away, ask yourself, will what I'm about to do bring me closer to the life I truly want? If you can keep that question alive, you've already stepped out of the loop of reaction and begun to live with true presence and courage. 5. Don't let your kindness turn you into a shadow in someone else's story. Kindness is a precious virtue, but kindness in the wrong way can be the root of unhappiness. Many of us believe that the more we sacrifice and endure, the more noble we become. But without awareness, you may end up living in the shadows of others' lives, while never stepping into your own light. Self-respect is the first form of true kindness. If you don't know how to stop, if you don't know when to say enough, people will grow used to your constant giving and never see how much it costs you inside. There's a story about Prime Minister Sima Guang and the first no of his life. Sima Guang, the famous statesman of the Song dynasty, was known for his prudence, modesty, and compassion. Once, a subordinate official who had fallen into hardship came to borrow a large sum of money to save his family. Sima Guang had always been generous in helping others, but this time he refused. He simply said, "This is beyond what I can carry. You must handle it yourself." The entire court was shocked. Some accused him of being cold-hearted, but later, that same man rebuilt his life. Precisely because Sima Guang didn't rescue him, he learned to stand again on his own feet. Years later, that man bowed deeply and said, "Had you helped me then, I would never have learned how to help myself." Sima Guang recorded one line in his journal: "To help a man when he is weak is virtue, but to help until he forgets his own strength is harm." He had helped many, but he also once blamed himself for making others dependent on his kindness. Later, he taught his children, "First, learn to hold yourself steady. Only then can you extend your hand to others." Sometimes you hesitate to say no for fear of being disliked, but a timely refusal can save someone's life from sinking into dependency. And more importantly, it allows you to keep walking your own path with strength still in your heart. Kindness must walk hand in hand with wisdom. You cannot become a light if you continue living as a shadow in someone else's story. Do not live as others expect. Live as you know you deserve. If people get used to you always saying, "It's okay," one day you'll no longer recognize yourself. Remember, you were not born to please everyone, but to fulfill your truest self. We have now walked through the first lessons of relearning how to live for ourselves, not reacting by instinct, not forcing ourselves to meet others' expectations. You may have once lost yourself in being the good person, but from now on, be the conscious one. And once you've stepped out of that reactive life, the next lesson is learning to master yourself through discipline. No change lasts without it. No future is worth being proud of if today you live only by whim and emotion. So now we step into the second chapter, a quiet but powerful virtue, self-discipline, because you owe yourself a meaningful life. Discipline is the highest form of love you can ever offer yourself. Many believe self-love means rest, indulgence, good food, and comfort. But the truest love is discipline, because it demands action, even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is not punishment. It is keeping your promises to yourself. Each time you wake up early, exercise, learn a skill, or refuse a harmful habit, you are saying to yourself, "I am worth the effort." Not everyone will see that, but you will, and that's enough. There's a story of a general whose discipline forged an army that never lost. During the spring and autumn period, Sun Wu, known as Sun Tzu, the author of The Art of War, trained a small army to guard the western border. Every morning at the exact hour of the rabbit, he ordered a single drumbeat. It was the signal for the entire camp to rise and train. One day, a heavy rain flooded the ground up to their knees. The soldiers thought they would rest, but the drum still sounded. No one dared to disobey. Cold, hungry, and soaked, they still trained. A young officer asked, "General, is your command divine?" Sun Tzu replied, "No, but it is the line between victory and ruin. Break a small discipline and you will panic before great challenges. 3 years later, when the enemy launched a surprise midnight attack, Sun Tzu's army was the only one to respond in time. They were disciplined. They didn't wait for orders to act. Sun Tzu once told his students, "To love yourself is not to be soft, but to forge yourself so that you can't be easily broken." A disciplined person doesn't need reminders or motivation. They are their own most reliable companion, because self-love is not a feeling. It is a daily practice. You cannot expect the world to love you if you continue to indulge your own delays and excuses. Discipline is the gift you give to the version of yourself who deserves to be better than yesterday. Those who live by emotion will always regret their impulsive decisions. Emotions are real, but living under their control is the fastest way to destroy what you've built. One careless word can shatter a bond. One rash decision can cost you your future. One moment of anger can make you pay with years of regret. You cannot control every emotion, but you can control your reaction. And the wise never let a fleeting feeling decide their lasting fate. There's a story from the Ming Dynasty about a young official named Liu Jing. He was brilliant, top of his class, deeply trusted by the emperor. But he had one flaw: a fiery temper and reckless tongue. One day, during a dispute with an elder official, he burst out in anger before the entire court. Though his reasoning was sound, his words were harsh, his attitude arrogant. The emperor was offended. A week later, Liu Jing was demoted and sent to a distant frontier. His elderly mother fell ill from shock. His wife and children were torn apart by distance. For the rest of his life, he lived in regret. Before his death, he wrote a letter to his son. "I failed not for lack of talent, but because I could not master myself in anger." My friend, perhaps you too have once said something that hurt someone you love. Perhaps you've made a decision driven by sadness, rage, or exhaustion. Emotions always come without warning, but maturity is learning to stop at the right moment. A rational person isn't someone without emotions, but someone who can set their emotions aside to protect what truly matters. Most of our deepest regrets come from the moments we couldn't control ourselves. Whenever you're angry or overwhelmed, don't speak, don't decide, don't act. Pause for just 10 minutes, and you might change the outcome of your entire life. That small pause is also a gift you give yourself, the one learning to master life through calm reason. A strong person is someone who knows what to do each morning without anyone reminding them. True strength doesn't lie in muscles, titles, or recognition. It lies in your ability to keep doing what's right, even when no one sees, no one praises, and no one asks. The weak need to be pushed to act. The strong act out of awareness and discipline. Life doesn't reward those with the best excuses. It rewards those who begin even when they don't feel ready. Every morning is a fresh beginning. Those who use it well always go further. The story of Confucius' student and the lesson of rising early. Zhengzi, one of Confucius' disciples, woke up before dawn every day. Rain or shine, even on nights he had studied until late. Someone once asked, "No one reminds you, no one rewards you. Why do you still do it?" Zhengzi simply replied, "If I need others to remind me, then I'm not truly living for myself." Confucius nodded. Zhengzi understood the way. He was not only right in his actions, but right in their timing. Years later, when other students still hesitated, Zhengzi had already become the pillar of the Confucian school, not because he was the most talented, but because he was the most consistent. Are you still waiting for someone to tell you to wake up early, to exercise, to read, to learn something new? Or have you already shown up for your own goals? The truly strong don't need an audience to live with integrity. They don't need supervision to work hard. They live for themselves, not for display. Every day is an examination, and the strong are those who both write and grade their own test. Without applause, they still keep walking, and when they reach their destination, they smile because they know they've earned it. 9. Acting without motivation is the clearest sign of maturity. Motivation sparks beginnings, but if you depend on it, you'll only move when you feel like it. And that's the problem. Feelings are the most unreliable fuel of all. The mature don't wait for motivation. They act because they know what must be done and understand the price of delay. Success doesn't come from special skills. It comes from astonishing consistency. Rain or shine, happy or sad, they do what must be done. The story of the lighthouse keeper, who never missed a night in 30 years. On the southern coast of Japan, a man named Hara volunteered to keep the lighthouse for 3 decades. Every afternoon before 5, he would climb up, check the light, refill the oil, and polish the glass. During storms, when waves swallowed the path, he tied a rope around his waist and swam to the tower. Even when his wife was gravely ill, he made sure someone stayed with her. So he could still light the lamp on time. People asked, "Have you never taken a single day off?" He smiled and said, "I don't do it for motivation. I do it because if I don't, a ship out there might crash upon the rocks." One year, during a violent storm, the radar system failed. The light Hara had tended every single day guided a ship of 300 people safely to shore. They held a ceremony to honor him. Hara bowed and said quietly, "I didn't save anyone. I simply did my duty." Do you only act when you feel inspired? Do you give up when no one notices or applauds? If so, remember the lighthouse keeper. He didn't act for recognition. He acted out of responsibility. Acting when inspired is instinct. Acting when uninspired is mastery. And every time you take action, even when you don't feel like it, you move one step closer to the person you are meant to become. This world doesn't lack talented people. It lacks those who can be trusted. Be the kind of person you yourself can rely on, because you don't wait for motivation to act. You act, and motivation follows. Dear friends, if today's message left you with a quiet moment, a little depth, a little tenderness, please share your thoughts below. And if you believe these lessons are worth keeping, share this video with the people you love. May you have a peaceful night. Now, let's move on to part 10. Success doesn't come from inspiration. It comes from the system you repeat every day. We often admire the moments of explosion, a sudden spark of genius, a surprising victory, a day when we work 10 times harder than usual. But if you look closely, success doesn't come from those special days. It's built from the quiet things you do over and over again when no one sees and no one cheers. Success is built on habit, and habit doesn't rely on feelings. If your life has a stable system, you don't need daily motivation. If you follow a clear schedule, you don't waste time wondering where to begin. And if you keep your promises to yourself, you'll keep moving forward even when everyone else is still waiting for the right mood. The story of Edison and 1,000 failed attempts. When Thomas Edison was asked why he didn't give up after more than 1,000 failures creating the light bulb, he simply smiled and said, "I didn't fail. I just found 1,000 ways that didn't work." Every day, Edison woke up at the same hour, worked in the same place, and repeated his experiments, even when nothing changed. He took careful notes, refined each step, and adjusted a little bit each day. No one saw excitement in him, but everyone saw persistence. And eventually, he succeeded. His light bulb didn't just brighten the world, it became a symbol of human will and wisdom. But Edison never called it a miracle. He called it the natural result of a system practiced every day without fail. Ask yourself, are you waiting for a big idea to begin? Or can you start from the small acts you repeat in silence? Are you ready to be consistent, or just a dreamer waiting for motivation to appear? It's not the most talented who win, but the most persistent, those who build their own system and stay loyal to it. Through sunshine or rain, through passion or emptiness, change doesn't require giant leaps, only small, steady steps every day. Once you have your system, you'll stop asking how to find motivation, because your quiet progress will become the answer. My friend, after learning discipline, to wake up without reminders, to work without inspiration, you've built a strong foundation. But the journey of self-growth doesn't end there. It continues with something even more important, knowing how to put yourself first. Don't wait until your body breaks down to rest. Don't wait until your soul feels empty to seek peace. Don't wait for permission to live true to yourself. Let's move to the next lesson. Prioritize yourself before exhaustion. Those who truly love themselves don't wait until they're tired to rest. We usually remember ourselves only when we've hit the limit, when our minds are tense, our bodies fall ill, and our hearts have nothing left to give. But self-love isn't patching up after breaking. It's pausing while you're still okay, caring for yourself before anyone complains, resting not because you're weak, but because you deserve peace. The wise don't wait for the well to dry before searching for water. They fill themselves a little every day, a good meal, an hour without screens, a gentle no to things unnecessary, a proper night's sleep. These simple acts may seem small, but they're the roots that keep both body and soul alive. The story of the monk and the overflowing bowl. A young disciple came to his master and said, "Master, I want to help the world. I'll devote myself, sacrifice everything, and never refuse anyone who needs me." The master said nothing. He took a bowl and began pouring water into it. When the bowl was full, he kept pouring. Water spilled across the table and onto the floor. Startled, the disciple said, "Master, stop! The bowl is full." The master smiled. "If you are this bowl, always filling yourself for others, one day you too will break. Learn to pour some out, keep a part for yourself, and give only when you're still full inside." The disciple fell silent. He realized how long he had been trying to be good to everyone while emptying himself little by little. Goodness that doesn't come from inner fullness is only a fragile shell. Many of us live the same way, trying to give completely to others while being hollow within. We mistake self-love for selfishness, but in truth, loving yourself is the only way to love others deeply and without regret. Those who know when to stop are the truly wise. Those who know how to keep a little for themselves are the ones who live long. And those who dare to rest before exhaustion are the ones who truly know how to love themselves. You can do many things for others, but the first thing you must do for yourself is to learn how to rest before you collapse. Not everyone will understand that, but you must understand it better than anyone else. 12. If you don't schedule your own life, someone else will do it for you. A day passes quickly. If you don't decide what to do with it, the world will fill it for you, with requests, expectations, and countless little distractions. And by the end of the day, you'll realize you have no time left for yourself. No words written, no lessons learned, not even 10 quiet minutes to breathe. It's not because you're lazy, it's because you forgot to plan for yourself. People who own their lives are those with clear schedules, not because they're rigid, but because they understand the power of priorities. You can be polite to others, but you must also be disciplined with yourself. If you want to write a book, block 30 minutes each morning. If you want to learn a new language, fix a time and stay with it. If you want to exercise, don't wait for free time. Create it. The story of 1 hour before sunrise. Nguyen Van Lam, a 39-year-old office worker, from Binthan, with 3 children, a busy wife, and a 10-hour workday. He once complained that he had no time for himself. Until one day, he heard this line, "If you don't have time during the day, create it before the day begins." From that morning on, he set his alarm for 4:30 a.m., not to go to work, but to read 10 pages, breathe deeply for 15 minutes, and write 5 lines in his journal. 6 months later, he had read 8 books, written 20 reflections, and started a small channel sharing time management lessons for busy people. Most importantly, he no longer felt that he lived only for others. Lam realized that time was never the problem. He had just let others arrange it for him for far too long. Now that he'd taken back control, he felt free, even though his days were still full. Time is the fairest treasure in the world. Those who use it wisely become rich, healthy, and peaceful. Those who let it scatter into endless little tasks end up tired and empty. If you don't write your own name into your schedule, don't be surprised when you spend the whole day living for everyone but yourself. Living with intention doesn't start with grand plans. It starts with putting yourself in the right place, on your own calendar. 13. Everyone needs you, but only you truly know what you need. Many people spend their whole lives trying to please others, but forget to ask what they themselves truly need. You can be a good person in the eyes of the world, but if you lose your inner voice, you'll always feel exhausted. Caring for others isn't wrong, but if it pulls you away from yourself, that kindness comes at too high a price. You are the only one who will live with you forever, so why not start by asking what you truly need? The story of official Truong Chi and his mother's old mat. Truong Chi was a minor official during the Tang dynasty, known for his kindness and devotion to the people. Every day he helped the poor write petitions, settled disputes, and assisted anyone who came to his door. He was loved by the whole village, but few knew that his aging mother waited for him at home. Through long winters alone on an old, cold mat, hoping for a bowl of porridge cooked by her son. One day she passed away quietly. When Truong Chi returned home, he found a note beside a half-cooked pot of porridge. Just a few trembling words, "I miss you, my son." He fell to his knees, but no tears came. In that moment, all the good he had done for others felt hollow. He had written petitions for hundreds, but never a single letter to his mother. He had put out fires in many homes, but let the warmth in his own fade away. He later resigned from his post and lived quietly in seclusion. Every morning he lit incense before his mother's old mat and whispered to himself, "The whole world may need me, but only I know what I have truly lost." You can be busy with 100 things, but never forget the one thing that matters most: to listen to yourself. Because if you don't understand yourself, no one else, not even those who love you, can do it for you. 14. If you don't care for your body, mind, and soul daily, don't expect lasting peace. Modern people care more about cars than bodies, schedules than souls, and screens than minds. But peace doesn't come from being busy. It comes from nurturing every part of who you are. Your body is your home. Your soul is the air that fills it, and your mind is the lamp that lights the way. Lose one and your life stumbles. Lose all 3 and you live like a sleepwalker in your own story, the story of scholar Lu Qin and his unfinished book. Lu Qin was a brilliant scholar of the Han Dynasty. From childhood, he devoured thousands of books. He buried himself in study, slept only 3 hours a night, ate poorly, and lived in solitude. At 38, while working on the greatest book of his life, he collapsed at his desk. His body failed. His mind went blank. He forgot even the sentence he had just written. His glorious years turned to dust in an instant, all because of one simple truth: he had never learned to care for himself. He spent 3 months in the hospital, Some nights he simply stared at the ceiling, thinking about his life. I have written for the world, he thought, but not a single line for myself. When he recovered, he moved to the mountains. He lived simply, ate vegetarian meals, meditated each morning, and rewrote his book slowly, deeply, turning it into a timeless masterpiece. This time, it was not just a book for the world. It was a message of awakening he wrote for his own soul. My dear friend, don't wait until illness knocks on your door to start learning how to love yourself, your body, your mind, and your spirit. These are the 3 treasures you must protect each day. They don't cry out for attention. They don't demand anything. But if you neglect them, they will quietly lead you away from a life worth living. The truest kind of presence is when you are fully here for yourself. You can show up at every meeting, reply to every message, attend every party. But if your mind is lost, if your heart is weary, then your presence is only a shadow. Real presence isn't measured by how often you appear, but by how true you are to yourself in each moment. A person who is truly present is one who dares to put the phone down, to pause the restless thoughts, and look deeply into what's happening inside their heart. That's not isolation. It's a reconnection to the very root of your being. Only when you are fully present for yourself can you truly be present for others. The story of Teacher Tuong and the moment he cried. Teacher Tuong was a literature teacher, dedicated, responsible, always honored for excellence. For 10 years, he never took a day off, never missed a single class. Students admired him, colleagues respected him, but few knew that his wife had quietly left, tired of years of being unseen. One day, while teaching a poem about silence, his voice broke. The classroom fell still as tears rolled down his face. No one understood why. Only he knew. For all those years, he had shown up for his career, for his students, but never truly for his own life. That night, he stood before the mirror for a long time, not to see his reflection, but to face the emptiness in his heart. I've been everywhere, he thought, except in my own life. From that day forward, he changed. He still taught with care, still carried his duty, but in the afternoons, he took long walks, breathed slowly, wrote down his thoughts, cooked for his aging mother, called his daughter. He wasn't busier, he was calmer, and his students began to notice a new light in his eyes, the light of presence. Dear friend, life doesn't need you to be everywhere. It needs you to truly be where it matters most, within yourself. Learn to pause. Listen to your heart. You'll be amazed at how far you've drifted from yourself. There are things in life you must simply accept. Not everyone will understand you, support you, or walk beside you forever. But that doesn't mean you have to reshape yourself to fit the world. Sometimes, staying true to who you are, even if it disappoints others, is the greatest form of growth. As we mature, we begin to fear less being disliked and more being lost to ourselves. When we were young, we tried to please everyone, afraid of rejection, afraid of being left behind. But as true maturity arrives, that fear fades, replaced by a deeper one, the fear of losing what is sacred within. To live falsely for approval is to end up an empty shell. The wise never chase love by changing their essence. They understand. Those who truly belong will stay. Those who don't, let them go. True freedom is not found in others' opinions, but in the peace of knowing you are still yourself in a crowded world. The story of Lu Tuan and the magnificent robe. Lu Tuan was the only son of Lu Qi, a royal physician during the Song dynasty. He grew up in luxury, well-educated, and refined, but his heart longed not for politics, but for poetry, painting, and a simple life. His father forced him to enter the capital's imperial exam. Lu Tuan obeyed, put on an elegant ceremonial robe, but inside, he felt barren. The night before the exam, he quietly escaped the city, leaving the robe on the table with a note that read, "I'd rather be hated for defying expectations than live my whole life without being myself." He spent the rest of his days teaching, planting tea trees, writing poetry. Many mocked him. Some called him unfilial, but those who visited him saw something rare. A radiant light in his eyes, the light of someone who never lost himself. There is always a price to pay for living truthfully, but it is a price worth paying. For freedom is never cheap. Lu Tuan's name never appeared on the honor rolls, yet his spirit lives on, admired for his courage to live authentically. You don't need to be loved by everyone. You only need to stop betraying yourself, day after day. The greatest respect is not earned from the crowd, but from the quiet strength of walking your own path with honesty and grace. Every step forward requires letting go of an older version of yourself. No growth can come from clinging to what's already gone. Each time you rise to a new height, you must release an old habit, a fading relationship, perhaps even a familiar self you once loved. Growth is the silent pain of transformation. You cannot hold on to yesterday while dreaming of tomorrow. Letting go is not failure. It is your promise to a deeper, steadier future. Only when you say goodbye to the old, comfortable self can you finally reach the boundless potential within you. The story of the girl who let go of high heels and fancy dresses. Tui An used to be an executive assistant at a large media company. Every morning she appeared in high heels, elegant office dresses, a professional smile, and a schedule packed from dawn till dusk. Everyone praised her, a strong, successful woman with a bright future. But few knew that each night she cried quietly in the dark, feeling her soul slowly hollow out. She no longer recognized herself in the whirlwind people called success. One morning she wrote a resignation letter. She left behind the fluorescent lights of the office, returned to her hometown to live with her grandmother, plant vegetables, cook, and start a small channel teaching vegetarian recipes. At first, her friends thought she had collapsed, but one by one, her simple, heartfelt videos began spreading across the internet. She didn't make as much money as before, but every morning when she woke up, she felt peace and wholeness. In her journal, she wrote, "I didn't step back. I simply moved forward toward myself." Letting go of high heels wasn't a retreat. It was the first step toward becoming the free, graceful woman she had always dreamed of being. Some things that once made us proud can, one day, become our heaviest burdens. To move forward, you must have the courage to say goodbye, even to what once made you shine. Dear friend, a new version of you is waiting to live. And for that to happen, sometimes you must quietly close an old chapter, not with regret, but with gratitude. My dear listeners, if what you've just heard has gently touched your heart, please don't hesitate to share your thoughts below. That's how Ancients Teach knows you're listening, and how you can help spread this message of light. If you find this story meaningful, share it as a small, gentle gift to those you love. Wishing you a night as calm and deep as the whisper of wind through old, thatched roofs. Those who truly love you will never be bothered when you live true to yourself. You don't have to strain to please others or hide your truth to be loved. Real love doesn't love you for being perfect. It loves you even when you are imperfectly real. If you must wear a mask to be accepted, then that person does not truly love you. The ones who stay when you're honest, when you're quiet, when you stop pretending, those are the ones worth keeping. Whether in love, family, or friendship, there's only one true condition: you must be allowed to be yourself. The story of Mencius and the King of Qi. When the king of Qi invited Mencius, a philosopher known for his wisdom, to take office at his court, some advisors told him, "You should cut your hair like the officials here. It'll help you fit in. The king will favor you." Mencius only smiled. When he met the king, his hair remained long, his robe plain, and in his hand, a single book. The king asked, "Why do you not follow the customs of my court?" Mencius replied, "If I must change my very nature for a position of power, then how could I ever uphold what is right when temptation comes?" He knew that if he wasn't true from the beginning, then any affection or favor he gained later would be for a false version of himself, and he could never live in peace with that. The king, instead of anger, felt admiration. He let Mencius keep his long hair and live by his principles. Those who truly care for you will never demand you change who you are to suit them. They will instead learn to love you as you are. You don't need to be charming all the time, or agreeable, or perfectly likable. You only need to be real. Those who genuinely value you will stay, not because you please them, but because you dare to live truthfully in a world full of pretense. Not everyone will walk beside you forever, and that's okay. Some who were once close will drift away as you begin to change. Some will no longer understand the life you choose to live. That doesn't mean you're wrong. It's simply the nature of growth. Some people are only meant to accompany us for a chapter. Those who remain are the gifts of life's quiet purification. Don't hold on to everyone. Those who leave when you become your true self were never meant to stay. Those who stay when you're no longer perfect, they're the ones who are real. Life doesn't need a crowd to understand you. It only needs a few hearts who truly do. The story of Su Dongpo and his only friend. Su Dongpo, a brilliant poet and official of the Song dynasty, once had many friends while in power. But after being falsely accused and exiled to Huangzhou, most turned away. Some even pretended not to know him. Only one old friend, Zhao Jian, traveled miles to visit. He brought with him some books, paper and ink, and a few simple dishes. They sat together through a rainy afternoon. No pity, no talk of politics, just poetry, tea, and the silent river flowing by. Later, Su Dongpo wrote to his brother, "Those who walked beside me in glory, I could not bear to betray them. But those who stayed with me in hardship, I will remember for life. You only discover who truly cares when you have nothing left to give. Those who remain when you have no title, no wealth, no fame. They are the foundation of a meaningful life. When you dare to walk alone, life will gently guide the right people to you. They won't need long explanations, say, because they stay with their hearts, not for your image. You don't need to be understood by everyone. You only need to be clear within yourself. The desire to be understood is human, but living for others' understanding is a kind of prison. If you keep waiting for others to get you, you'll delay your own journey. Sometimes you must walk quietly alone, because you know where you're going. You don't owe the world explanations. You don't need universal approval. Inner clarity matters more than outer agreement. Your path is a pilgrimage, not a performance. The story of the student once called disobedient. In a small village, there was a young student named Quang. While all his classmates dreamed of passing the imperial exams to become officials, he chose to leave school and become a carpenter instead. The entire village mocked him, calling him the boy who betrayed the sacred path of learning. His teachers scolded him. His parents were disappointed. His friends turned their backs. But Quang said nothing. He quietly left the village. No arguing, no explaining. 20 years later, the largest wooden bridge in the region stood proudly, built by Quang's own hands. Thousands came to see it. His name was carved in honor on the village's memorial plaque. Those who once scolded him now brought their children and grandchildren to learn the craft from him. When asked if he ever felt resentment or anger toward those who mocked him, Kuang simply smiled and said, "If I had stopped to argue with everyone, that bridge would never have been built. What matters isn't whether others understand you, but whether you understand yourself. Your worth doesn't come from agreement, but from what you patiently build. You don't need to live for the applause of the crowd. You only need to live in such a way that when life nears its end, you have no regrets. Remember, no one else can live your life for you. Live deeply, authentically, and with clarity, so when you look back, you'll know you did not lose your way. When you're brave enough not to please everyone and strong enough not to be understood by everyone, that's when you begin to see yourself more honestly, more deeply. You stop blaming others. You stop waiting for miracles. Instead, you start fixing the smallest habits within yourself, because you realize greatness isn't found in grand gestures, but in small changes done over and over until they shape who you are. The future doesn't begin next year, it begins tomorrow morning. All those thoughts of someday I will are just warm blankets for procrastinators. The future isn't a destination you wait to reach. It's woven daily from your smallest morning choices. What time do you wake up? What do you do first? How do you treat your time? These are not trivial details. They are the molds that shape your destiny. If you want to know what a person's life will look like a year from now, watch how they begin their mornings. Exceptional people don't wait for inspiration. They act as if every morning were their last chance. You can't rewrite the past, but each morning offers you a fresh, blank page. What you write on it is entirely up to you. The unusual beginning of artist Yayoi Kusama. When she was a young girl in post-war Japan, Yayoi Kusama woke up every day at 4 a.m., not to paint, but to walk through the fields, observing each leaf, each flicker of morning light on the surface of the water. No one understood what she was doing. Her friends got married, took jobs, while she kept repeating her pointless routines. But from those quiet mornings emerged the visions of infinity, the dots and the weightless fields that would later define her art. More than 20 years later, Kusama became one of the most influential contemporary artists in the world. Her multi-million-dollar works all began with something simple, the discipline of unseen mornings. When asked about her secret, Kusama said, "I am not a genius, I only have a small gift, the ability to begin each day sincerely. No grandeur, no showing off, just waking early and refusing to be lazy with herself." Dear friend, nothing truly great arrives suddenly. It grows slowly, like sunlight, steady, patient, unstoppable. Those who cherish their mornings quietly shorten the distance to their dreams. A life doesn't transform through fireworks and noise, but through quiet moments. When you choose to wake up on time, read a few pages, breathe deeply, and repeat that each day without complaint. Starting tomorrow morning, ask yourself, will I rise as someone weary and defeated, or as someone building their destiny? A single bad habit, if repeated long enough, can destroy a lifetime. No one fails from being late once, but be late 100 times and trust begins to fade. No one collapses from indulging once, but repeat it often enough, and laziness will corrode your will. Habits may seem small, but they can either build a life or bury it. Those who fear their bad habits are already on the path of true growth. A habit isn't just a behavior, it becomes your identity. The more you repeat an action, the more it defines who you are. To change your life, you don't need anyone's help. You just need to stop one bad habit and protect one good one long enough for it to transform you. The Fading Life of a Young Scholar in the Ming Dynasty. Zhang Zifang was a brilliant young scholar, praised by the emperor himself. He topped every examination, provincial, national, and imperial. His future seemed destined for greatness. But Zhang had one fatal flaw, a small bad habit. He stayed up late every night to study, then slept until noon. At first, people admired his dedication, the young man who burned the midnight oil. But over time, his schedule fell apart. He arrived late to meetings, his body weakened, and his mind grew dull. One morning, after oversleeping again, he failed to submit an important report to the court. He was dismissed, not because he lacked talent, but because he could no longer be trusted. Looking back, Zhang sighed. "I did not fail because of others. I failed because of a habit I thought harmless." A wrong habit, if fed long enough, will quietly eat away everything you've built. You can be intelligent, you can be gifted, but if bad habits rule your days, you are digging your own pit, and one day you will fall into it. Success does not come from great acts. It comes from small actions done right, done consistently. Habits are seeds. You reap what you sow. Don't expect sweet fruit from a seed rotting every night. Start simple. Wake up on time, stay alert, and keep promises to yourself. You don't have to fix your whole life at once. Fix one thing, but fix it completely, because the habits you repeat today are shaping the person you'll become tomorrow. Don't wait for motivation, create it. A common trap of youth is waiting for inspiration before acting, but motivation is not lightning striking from the sky. It's a quiet flame kept alive by consistent effort. When you begin, even the smallest progress creates its own momentum. But if you sit still waiting for inspiration, procrastination will consume you. Action doesn't need emotion. Emotion follows action. Take one step, and your whole body and mind will follow. The story of Edison on a rainy day. During a long string of failed battery experiments, Thomas Edison once sat silently outside his lab. Rain poured down. His assistants thought he had finally given up. But suddenly, Edison stood up, picked up a test tube, and tried again. When asked, "Master, what keeps you going?" Edison smiled. "I don't rely on motivation. Doing the work itself reminds me I'm alive." A few months later, he unveiled his first successful battery prototype, not because he waited for the perfect moment, but because he chose to keep doing every single day, even when no one believed in him, even when his own heart grew tired. There will be days you don't want to get out of bed, don't want to face your goals, don't want to try anymore, but if on those days you still act, you've already won. Ordinary people act when they feel inspired. Extraordinary people act to create inspiration. That's why some soar and others stay still. Tomorrow, if you don't feel like it, that's fine. Just start. One small act, done long enough, will open doors you never imagined. Habits don't need to be perfect, only consistent. We often set impossibly high standards, then feel defeated when we fall short. But life doesn't need you to be perfect every day. It needs you not to quit. Winners aren't those who do the most. They're those who stay consistent the longest. Keep going, and you're already ahead of 90% of those who stop halfway. Don't start with a perfect plan. Start with one simple thing and do it regularly. Read 1 page a day. Write 1 paragraph a week. Exercise for 1 hour each morning. Small things accumulate into greatness. The poor student and the old wooden desk. In a quiet village, there was a boy named Hung, too poor to afford even a lamp. Each night he carried his books to sit under a tree where light spilled faintly from a neighbor's house. He could read only 2 or 3 pages each night, eyes strained, body cold, stomach empty. Many told him, "You'll never get anywhere studying like that." But Hung never stopped. 2 years later, he passed the entrance exam to a top school. 5 years later, he earned a scholarship abroad. And years after that, as a university lecturer, when asked about his secret to success, He quietly said, "I wasn't gifted, I just didn't quit." It wasn't brilliance or luck, but silent, steady persistence that transformed his life. If you've ever thought, such a small effort can't change anything, think again. It's not weakness holding you back, it's inconsistency, because habit is the magic reserved for those who keep going. Persistence beats intelligence, consistency beats inspiration. Simplify what you must do, then repeat it. Again and again until results must appear. You don't need a revolution, you need rhythm. Day after day, the smallest act, repeated faithfully, will turn you into someone you never imagined you could become. You don't need to do more. You just need to do the right thing, and do it consistently. In this noisy world filled with thousands of musts and shoulds, there is one timeless principle that never fails. Do what's right, and do it steadily. It's not the one who does the most who wins, but the one who walks in the right direction and never stops. Each day do just one thing, but do it well and do it right. Those who create breakthroughs aren't the ones who know everything. They are the ones who choose one thing worth doing and stay loyal to it until the end. There's an old story about the well digger. Once, a farmer named Cat spent years digging wells all across his village. He tried everywhere, a few feet here, a few feet there, then gave up each time when the soil grew hard. One day he met an old sage drawing water from a deep well. Cat asked, "Why do you have water all year round while I have none?" The old man smiled, "Because I only dug in one place, and I kept digging until I found water." That day, Cat realized he never lacked effort. He lacked focus and perseverance. He went home, chose a small patch of land near his house, and dug a little each day. 3 years later, he struck water, and from that day on, he never needed to wander again. He taught his children, great success lies deep beneath the ground. Only those who never quit halfway can reach it. There will be moments when you doubt your path, when others seem faster, more successful. But if your direction is right, stay steady. In the end, it's not who arrives first, but who keeps walking till the end. You don't need to master everything, just master one thing, and keep it alive with daily action. That's how ordinary people become extraordinary. You don't have to do it all, just choose one worthy thing, and do it until no one can do it better than you. When you're consistent and aligned, everything else will find its way to you. There are times in life when we keep trying to please everyone until one day we realize we've slowly lost ourselves. On the journey of self-investment, you'll have to accept this truth. Not everyone will like who you're becoming, and that's perfectly fine. Because maturity is not about being liked. It's about not fearing disapproval. Every day you live by others' expectations, you step further away from your true dream. People may praise you, they may criticize you, but only you will live with the results of your choices. Living to make others happy is borrowing a temporary life. Only when you live for what you truly believe in will your dream take real form. Each time you silence your own heart to say yes to something you don't want, you lay one more brick backward on your path. Eventually, you won't even recognize whose life you're walking anymore. The Shoemaker and the Prince. In a small town, there was a man named Lamb, a shoemaker passionate about crafting unique designs. Curved edges, red stitching, hand-sewn details, but customers mocked him. "No one will buy these," they said. His family urged him, "Just make the usual kind. Don't try too hard." Eventually, Lamb gave in. He began making ordinary shoes. His income rose, but his heart grew empty. One day, the royal procession passed through town. A servant noticed an old pair of Lamb's handmade shoes and asked who created them. Soon after, Lamb was invited to the capital to craft shoes for the royal family, in the exact style he was once criticized for. If he hadn't kept even one pair made his own way, he might have remained lost among thousands of average makers. How many times have you abandoned your dreams because others couldn't understand them? How many times have you erased your uniqueness because people said it was too much? Don't spend your whole life fitting in, only to one day search for yourself and find no one there. Only when you dare to be different can you touch your true destiny. If you live just to please others, you will bear the sorrow of dreams that never had the chance to begin. Today, you still have time to choose again, and it only takes one act of courage to live truthfully for everything to begin to change. Before this episode continues, we invite you to share your thoughts below. Your reflections are like a gentle bell, letting us know you're walking this path with ancients teach. If you find meaning in these words, please share them so that ancient wisdom may live on, not just in books, but in human hearts. Wishing you a peaceful listening experience. 27. The plans others make for you will never contain your happiness. People may mean well. They'll tell you to pick a stable career, to marry a good person, to live a calm life. But all these are only guesses, based on their experiences. They are not you. They don't feel what sets your heart on fire. They don't wake up each morning in your body. In your story, living by someone else's plan is living a faded copy of yourself. You might be praised as obedient, sensible, but soon you'll face the emptiness that comes from a life that doesn't feel your own. The story of Minister Zhang Cat. During the Tang dynasty, Zhang Cat was a respected minister. The emperor, pleased with his service, offered him more power and wealth, urging him to stay at court. But Zhang once said, "True wisdom is not in clinging to power, but in knowing when to step away." At the height of his career, he shocked everyone by resigning and retreating to his hometown in May, to write and live in peace. Many laughed at him, saying he feared politics. But later, when the court fell into chaos, most who stayed were purged. Only Zhang Cat remained safe, living his final years in serenity and dignity. Had he lived by the king's or the people's expectations, he might have kept his title for a while, but lost his freedom forever. Are you straining to live the life others designed, while feeling uneasy inside? Have you traded your freedom, your passion, even your peace of mind, just to please others? No matter how perfect someone's plan seems, it can never fill the silent hunger that only you understand. Happiness never comes from safety. It comes from choosing what feels true to your soul. If today you can bravely say no to what isn't yours, you've already taken one step closer to the life that is. 28. To live truthfully is the bravest act in an age of masks. We live in strange times where sincerity is seen as naivety and kindness mistaken for weakness. People wear masks online, at work, at parties, but at night, many lie awake, feeling unseen, unknown. Those who live authentically may not be loved by all, but they sleep peacefully. They don't have to remember what lie they told yesterday or force a smile that isn't real. They can look in the mirror each morning and feel no shame. The story of Nguyen Hien Le, the man who dared to be himself. Nguyen Hien Le, a renowned Vietnamese scholar, refused all government positions under both French rule and after 1954. Though often invited, he chose a quiet life of writing and translating, building a path of knowledge on his own. There were times he was too poor to even print his books, yet he never accepted a position against his conscience. He once said, "I cannot speak words I do not believe in, and I cannot live a life I did not choose." More than 100 of his books became guiding lights for generations, not because of power or privilege, but because he lived truthfully. The price of living honestly is loneliness at first, but the price of living falsely is losing yourself forever. Are you smiling when you're not happy, nodding when you don't agree, praising what you don't believe in? If so, it's time to step back and ask yourself, who are you really living for? The greatest courage is not confronting others, but facing yourself with honesty. In this complicated world, those with simple hearts are the freest souls. You don't have to stand out. If you can simply be yourself, you are already brighter than thousands hiding behind perfection. 29. Not everyone will understand your path because it was never meant for them. Each of us is born with a unique map of the soul. Your choices may seem strange, unapproved, even mocked, but that's fine. They were never meant to understand. If you live so everyone approves, you'll end up living too small a life. Throughout history, every great mind, every true genius was once called unusual, and that is where we'll pause today. Every story holds more layers, and the path of Sun Bin, the man who turned defeat into wisdom, awaits us in the next episode. If these words have touched your heart, remember to subscribe to Ancients Teach. Your support helps ancient wisdom continue to breathe in this modern world. Take a moment to like, share, or leave a thought below, because every reflection you leave becomes part of this growing circle of seekers. We'll meet again in the next video to uncover what it truly means to walk the path no one believed in. Until then, stay calm, stay kind, and keep your inner light burning.